All right, we're talking to Joe Chmelka, owner of Westside Appliance Repair. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Greg.
So we just want to talk to about Westside and get some insight into why you've been successful, why the organization has been successful. Talk a little bit about last year, how crazy it was, and how Westside and your team had to make some adjustments and some pivots for that. So Joe, let everybody know about Westside, what it is, what you do, about your team, your target market, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we got about 18 technicians, and all we do is repair home appliances. We don't do commercial work. We don't sell appliances. We're very focused on just repairing home appliances. So washer, dryer, refrigerator, stoves, dishwasher, that kind of stuff. Westside's actually originally was a division, if you will, of the old O'Callaghan's, which was the mom and pop appliance retail and repair store in Des Moines, I think since 1941. Yeah, we run about 100 to 110 service calls a day, about a 25-mile radius of Des Moines. Easiest way to say it. We work on pretty much all brands except for LG and Samsung. They're just very difficult manufacturers to deal with. Their paperwork, ordering of parts, everything, and we're so doggone busy. We just don't have time to really deal with their hassles. They've just got very inefficient processes. Easiest way to describe it. So I always tell people, don't buy a Samsung or an LG, because if it breaks, you're in trouble. We are the largest appliance repair company in Des Moines. I think our closest competitors probably got 3, maybe 4 technicians. What separates us in particular is, our guys have to be, because we have strict contracts with with our manufacturers like GE and Frigidaire and all the Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid brands. Our guys have to be background checked. They have to be drug tested. So they've got to go through some rigorous training, things like that. So our guys, just by that alone, are held to a much higher standard. And most of the other companies, I don't think there's another company in Des Moines that is actually certified by any of the manufacturers. They're allowed to work on them outside of warranty, but I believe we're one of the only to be allowed to work on it, because we meet those thresholds.
So how do you keep so obviously the appliance world is, more technical, getting more advanced, everything's fancier, more bells and whistles, et cetera, getting smarter. So how do your people, how working on an appliance 10 years ago versus today, how can they learn how to do that?
Yeah, it's really a lot of training. There's now we're going to video training more so than usual. Typically in the past, we've had manufacturers reps. They come out to our site. We'll get back into that once we get through COVID, but they provide us with state-of-the-art training. We have association affiliations where there's a nationwide association. There's training that's obtained through that. But you're exactly right, Greg. 10 years, 15 years ago, it used to be a machine. It had a belt. It had a couple of motors, cold water, hot water, if it was a washing machine. Now it's got 20 different spin cycles and sensors, and that's really an electronic device. And so our guys have to be more up to speed on electronics and boards and circuit boards, all that kind of stuff. And so it does require additional training, and there's a lot of, it's just more complex than it was. And our guys do a really great job of getting that experience. Once again, our guys are running 8 to 10 calls a day. And it's not just running those calls, it's the experience that the guys gain from running 8 to 10 calls consistently a day, week after week, year after year. You gain that experience, really, that hands-on knowledge. So it's not just training, it's also getting that experience. We got guys that have been with us 30 years, and we got guys that have been with us 3 or 4 years. And to have that 30-year guy be able to answer a question for a 3-year guy, that's huge. Very, very huge. So that's kind of helps us a lot.
Joe, at one time I knew you were getting into working on fireplaces and do some vent cleaning, that kind of stuff. Are you still branching out and getting into those areas? Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, we got into the dryer vent cleaning as an example, because a majority of the reasons that a dryer breaks is because your dryer vent, it goes from the back of the dryer all the way to outside of your house, either up through your roof or underneath, whatever, that gets clogged. And it's amazing how much of that lint still goes all the way through the machine. It's high, it's very wet, and then it just makes a pasty almost kind of a thing, and it just clogs up your dryer vent. And so there really wasn't anybody in town that did that, and yet that's what was breaking a lot of the dryers for our customers. So we decided, well, we need to go out and really solve the problem for the client. And so we decided, well, let's be proactive and let's actually go out and clean dryer vents. So we've got little test kits that will show. It takes about 30 seconds. We run them for free. Anytime a tech is at your house, you can ask him to check your dryer vent. He'll do that. And then you can decide if you need to have your dryer vent cleaned or not. And then as far as fireplaces go, we got into fireplaces 2 or 3 years ago, and it's only direct vent gas fireplaces. We're not a chimney sweep. We're not cleaning chimneys or doing anything there. It is purely a direct vent gas fireplace. Okay. And that's all we do there. It's not that much different than a stove, quite frankly. So it was an easy transition to get into that line. People need help. We clean the glass really well, provide new embers, just really makes your fireplace look really, really nice. And then obviously if your fireplace isn't working, we can do the basic repair to get your gas fireplace up and running again. So yeah, both of those have been very, very good lines of business for us to get into.
Okay. Let's talk about how crazy last year was, the COVID situation. Talk about how it affected Westside with your staff, and then with the customers, and changes you had to implement, the effects, that type of stuff.
Yeah, it was a difficult year because you just have that constant unknown. Our guys are deemed to be essential workers. All right. Meaning that no matter what, we're supposed to go out and work. I mean, people need refrigerators. They're going to be staying at home a lot more. They need their appliances working. They've got to be able to cook. They've got to be able to refrigerate and freeze food, things like that. So, you're just really, really worried for your guys, because they're out in 8 to 10 homes a day, and they're getting exposed to whatever is in that household. And most people are really, nice about it and responsible. And they tell you, hey, we're out of the country, we're out of town. My son tested positive for COVID, and we're working, we'll reschedule around that. But some aren't, and some people don't even know that they've got the disease when you're standing 2 feet away from them. So we implemented processes. We have to wear masks. Our guys are supposed to wear booties whenever they're in the house. We ask just common sense things. If we're coming out to work on your appliance, take some soap and water and just wipe it down. Okay. Our guy's going to come in and either spray it with some type of a disinfectant solution, or wipe it down, and wear a mask in the house. Try and have we ask the client to wear a mask when they're going to be, close to the guy, because our guys are, at greater risk than the average person. I mean, the average person is going to go to the grocery store and things like that. Well, our guys, they go to the grocery store. Plus they're in 8 to 10 homes a day. So we've been really, really fortunate. I wish there was some wood to knock on. none of our guys have gotten sick from work. We've had 2 or 3 guys get sick, but really from a family event or their wife contracted it first, things like that. So we've been really, really fortunate. I think just by, the nature of our job over the years, even before COVID, our guys, I think their immune systems are so strong because I think they're going into all these houses. They've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And, they just don't get sick very often, honestly. They're exposed to so many different things. So we do ask the questions. We ask the client to help us out. And then, like I said, our guys they're masking up and they're wiping down the appliance before they work on it. And we're just asking, the clients as well to wear a mask too. And we're doing everything that we can. And hey, we're almost a year into this thing. It's worked, like I said, very well. Our process has worked very, very well. So hopefully that continues.
Congratulations. That's awesome. There's not a lot of businesses that can say that they've been able to keep their people healthy through the whole year.
Yeah, we have to have 90% of our people on site, even in the office. And so even within our offices, we've got everybody wearing a mask. I mean, when they're at their own desk in their own office, they don't have to wear their mask. But when they are up walking around, they leave their office, they've got to wear a mask. And it's amazing how everybody's really done a good job with that. And, we haven't had it go through the office either. Everybody's been smart. I don't know how many 100 cans of Lysol we've gone through, but we spray that. We've got these big HEPA air filters running in 2 or 3 different, throughout the office. Once again, we're just doing everything we can to minimize, contact and spread and things like that with our office personnel as well, because, technicians can go out and do the work, but they can't do the work if they don't have all the parts and the paperwork's not filled out and the phones aren't answered, things like that. We've also got a backup system now. If somebody thinks that they might have it, or if they've been exposed to COVID and they're required to kind of self-quarantine for a certain period of time, we've got a process in place now where people in the office, most of them can work from home. They can do a large portion of their job from home, primarily taking phone calls, a call taker in particular. So that helps as well.
Okay. So what are you seeing for 2021, Joe? What do you think's out there? What do you think for Westside 2021 is going to look like?
Well, right now we're incredibly busy, and I think that's 2 or 3 reasons, right? People are staying home more, they're using their appliances more, and as a result, the appliances are breaking more. All right. Second thing, we're struggling to get some parts in a timely manner. All right. The parts distribution, our manufacturers were completely caught off guard by this whole thing. The demand for repair parts is probably double, if not triple, across the country to what it normally is at this time of the year. So that pushes things back a little bit. Normally we'd be able to come in on a Monday, and even if we didn't have the part when we came to your house, which we strive to, and we had to special order something, by Wednesday, Thursday, well, we'd have that part. Now, because we're so busy, we might be booked out, 3, 4, 5 days ahead. That's how many calls we've got ahead. And then we can't get that part for 2 or 3 more days, maybe even a week sometimes. All of a sudden, a repair that, from the time the technician shows up at your house till the time everything's done, instead of that being a day or certainly within 3 days, 4 days, now it can be up to 2 weeks. It's no fault of our guys. It's just getting those parts and different things. So 2021, another issue is that if you go to an appliance retailer that's going to sell you a new appliance, let's say your refrigerator breaks. I think I'll just go buy a new refrigerator. That's not very easy either. They're behind. And a lot of times they can't get you a new machine for 3 to 6 weeks, particularly if you've got a custom, refrigerator that's got to fit in a specific spot. You wanted a certain color that matches your other appliances, options, et cetera, et cetera. you know, the new ones, they're delayed. So now what are you going to do? Go without a refrigerator for 3 to 6 weeks, or are you going to get yours fixed? Most people are getting theirs fixed, obviously, and that's with all appliances. So once again, that's causing us to be even busier. So right now we're extremely busy. It's a good problem to have, but I think everybody's just got to try and be patient and understand, you know, our guys are all running 8 to 10 calls a day. We're doing the absolute best we can. You have a bad weather day like today is an example. That Jimmy's all of today up potentially. Our guys are still on hold right now. They're waiting to get out in the field. Some of them are where the roads are good, but there's some areas, you know, where we can't get out there. Well, it's almost like we're going to miss probably half of our service calls today. So then that stacks up into tomorrow and Saturday and Monday. And anyway, it's a hassle, but it's a good problem. I'd much rather be on my side of things than a bar owner or restaurant owner that, you know, his business is really, really struggling.
So that's a good where I'm going to go next is, so it doesn't sound like to get your phone ring or your cash register ring is a challenge right now. It sounds like getting the work done. So Joe, what would you say to some of those industries that had a tough, that the year really knocked them down, and maybe they've lost their jobs or their business has slowed down, or they've been furloughed or whatever? And so if they wanted to get into your industry, obviously you could keep them busy for a while, but what kind of skill sets do you look for in bringing people on, and what kind of money can somebody make working for Westside?
Yeah, we have a training program that's approved by the state of Iowa and then also the U.S. Department of Labor. So we have a, you know, on the job paid training. Typical guys will start somewhere $15, $17 an hour. They would come on and then they would go through a very specific training program. The people who are most successful, you know, 2 or 3 different qualities. I can't teach a personality, right? You have to be somewhat outgoing, a little bit of, you know, common sense. Okay. A lot of times it's not just fixing the appliance, you know, it's fixing the customer too. The customer is upset. You know, appliances cost a lot, and they cost a lot to repair sometimes. I mean, these things are circuit boards. They're different things. It's not a simple, you know, little $30 motor anymore. It's a $150, $175 circuit board. And it takes some real time and expertise to make that repair. So the repair, you know, can be expensive. The other thing that I think makes people really successful is we got a young guy right now. His name's Avery, and what my guys, the experienced guys, and the people that are working my service managers particularly like about him is he won't stop until he figures out what the problem is. You know, you can look at it on the surface and say, well, let's try this part, and then we'll try this, you know, or you can really fine tune it and get all the way down to the root cause of the problem. And I think that's part of it. People have to have, our best technicians have patience. They take their time and they want to come up with the ultimate solution. Does it happen every time? Of course not. They're human. But that's one of the things. Another, you know, really good quality for somebody is they like to fix stuff. You know, people that come off the farm typically do real good in our business. People that have been HVAC technicians. Our job is 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. You're not going to be working nights. You're not going to be on call, crazy times, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a very good and a very stable career. A guy that joins us and then gets what we call commissioned once he's fully trained, takes about 2 years, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less. You know, that guy's going to walk out of there making 50, 55 a year. And then it's just, you know, getting more experience, getting quicker in your repairs. You know, it's just really an experience thing. By the time they hit the 4 or 5 year mark, they're typically making well into the 60s, if not 70s. And then we've got a couple of guys last year that made over $100,000. So it's a very lucrative career. The way that our guys are paid, they're paid on a commission basis per job. Make as much money as you want. You know, the more jobs you do a day, a week, the more you're going to get paid. So it's a really good job. It's not going away. Appliances aren't like TVs. They're going up in price instead of down in price. It's still cheaper to repair. You know, a $700 dishwasher might cost you $250 to repair. You know, so it's still a lot smarter typically to get the appliance repaired.
Okay. So Westside Appliance is hiring good, smart people. So if you know
Yeah.
somebody, or if you were unfortunate enough that lost your position or got furloughed, why get an application into Westside and see if it's a fit for you. So
Yeah, and
Joe,
those things are on our website. Go ahead.
on the website, you can apply on the website.
Yeah, there's something on there. I think there's a link, and all you got to do is send us an email and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about an employment opportunity.
Okay.
So yeah, westsideappliance.com.
Okay. Joe, thanks for your time this morning. Westside's kind of a neat little secret, and you guys have done a great job for a long time. So congratulations on that and getting through the year, and hopefully 2021 will be even better for everybody. So thanks.
Hey man, I owe it all to my action coach. He took me from nothing to where I am.
Thanks for the plug. All right. Very
All
good.
right.
Stay out
Take
of the
care.
weather. Stay out of the weather.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.